Ladies and gentlemen, life is a peculiar thing. We walk this road together, searching for meaning, longing for connection. And yet, in all our conversations, in all our moments of silence, there are truths left unsaid. Today, let's talk about what men truly desire, but seldom find the words to express, not because they don't feel it, but because some things, some longings are buried deep beneath the weight of expectation. So, if you'll lend me your ears, let's take a journey into the hearts of men. First of all, respect is the foundation of a man's sense of self. It is not about dominance or control, but about being valued for who he is and what he brings to the table. A man thrives when he knows that his thoughts, efforts, and decisions are taken seriously. He doesn't need constant praise, but he does need to feel that his presence matters. When he speaks, he wants to be heard, not dismissed. When he takes action, he wants his intentions to be recognized, not overlooked. Respect is shown in the way you listen, the way you trust, and the way you acknowledge his contributions, no matter how small. A man who feels respected will naturally give back love, protection, and devotion. On the other hand, when respect is absent, when he feels belittled, ignored, or unappreciated, it cuts deep. It chips away at his confidence and sense of purpose. More than gifts or grand gestures, a man craves respect, because to him it is the purest form of love. A man walks through life carrying the weight of silent battles, expectations, responsibilities, and the unspoken pressure to always be strong. From a young age, he is taught to suppress his emotions, to hide his fears, and to never let the world see his weaknesses. But beneath the armor of toughness, there is a heart that longs for understanding. He needs a place where he can lay down his burdens without fear of judgment. A place where he can speak his mind, share his doubts, and express his emotions without being seen as weak. The world tells him to be a protector, a provider, an unshakable force. But even the strongest pillars need support. He may not openly ask for it, but he craves the kind of love that allows him to be real. To have moments where he doesn't have to pretend, where he doesn't have to be the rock every second of the day. A man's safe place is not found in solitude. It is found in the arms of someone who listens without ridicule, who sees his struggles and does not turn away. When a man feels safe enough to be vulnerable, he does not become weaker. He becomes stronger. He trusts more deeply, loves more fully, and gives more of himself. But when he feels that his vulnerability will be used against him, he shuts down. He builds walls, hides his pain, and learns to suffer in silence. A safe space to be vulnerable is not about fixing his problems. It is about standing beside him, letting him know that he does not have to face them alone. A man without purpose feels lost. It is in his nature to build, to strive, and to leave his mark on the world. Whether his purpose is found in his career, his passions, or his family, it is what drives him forward. It gives him a reason to wake up each morning and push through the challenges life throws his way. But purpose alone is not enough. He also needs support. Even the most determined man can feel defeated when he faces constant obstacles without encouragement. He may never say it out loud, but knowing that someone believes in him can be the difference between pushing forward and giving up. Support is not just about cheering him on when he succeeds. It is about standing by him when he struggles. It is in the small gestures, a word of encouragement, a listening ear, a reminder that his efforts are seen and valued. A man who feels supported becomes unstoppable. He moves with confidence, knowing that even if the world doubts him, there is one person who sees his potential. On the other hand, when a man feels unsupported, when his dreams are dismissed, his ambitions are questioned, or his struggles are ignored, he starts to doubt himself. He withdraws, loses motivation, and may even give up on his goals altogether. No man wants to walk his path alone, and though he may never ask for help, having someone who believes in him gives him the strength to keep going. Purpose gives him direction, but support gives him the courage to pursue it. Loyalty is not something a man simply wants. It is something he needs. It is the quiet but powerful force that allows him to trust, to love, and to give his all, without fear. A man can face any battle, endure any hardship, and weather any storm, if he knows that the person beside him is truly on his side. But loyalty is not just about being physically present, it is about being unwavering in commitment, even when times are tough. It is about standing firm when the world tests your bond, about choosing him every day, not just when it is convenient. A man doesn't just listen to words, he watches actions. Promises mean little if they are not backed by consistency. He wants to know that when he is at his lowest, when the road is uncertain, the one he loves will not walk away. He wants to feel that his deepest fears, his weaknesses, and his vulnerabilities will never be used against him. True loyalty means knowing that no matter what happens, betrayal is never an option. It means that in a world full of uncertainty, he has one thing he can count on: someone who will never give up on him. When a man feels true loyalty, he opens up in ways he never would otherwise. He lets down his guard, he trusts fully, and he gives back the same level of dedication, if not more. But when loyalty is questioned, when he feels he has to constantly prove himself or wonder where he stands, he withdraws. He may not always express it, but a man's heart is deeply affected by disloyalty, whether through broken trust, lack of support, or even emotional distance. More than love, more than admiration, loyalty is what makes him feel safe. It tells him that no matter what happens, he is not alone. A man spends his days navigating a world full of pressures, expectations, and unseen battles. He fights to provide, to protect, to succeed, and to stand strong in the face of challenges. But no matter how tough he may seem, there is one thing he craves more than anything when he comes home: peace. Not perfection, not control, but a sanctuary where his mind can rest and his heart can be at ease. A man does not seek to avoid responsibility or conversation, but he longs for an environment where he is not constantly met with conflict, criticism, or unnecessary stress. The world outside already demands so much of him. If his home, his relationships, or his closest connections become another battleground, he will slowly withdraw. A man will always gravitate toward what brings him peace, whether that be a person, a place, or a state of mind. Chaos, on the other hand, wears him down. Constant arguments, unnecessary drama, or a lack of appreciation make him feel as though he is fighting a war with no refuge. When his efforts are met with negativity, or when he feels he can never do enough to create stability, he begins to detach. He may not always voice it, but he deeply values a space where he feels respected, heard, and understood. A peaceful presence, a partner who brings calm instead of conflict, allows him to recharge, refocus, and show up as the best version of himself. Peace does not mean avoiding difficult conversations or pretending problems do not exist. It means handling them with mutual respect, patience, and a desire to resolve rather than to destroy. When a man finds peace with someone, he finds hope, and once he finds that, he will do everything in his power to protect and cherish it. A man may not always say it, but he notices when his efforts go unrecognized. Every action he takes, whether big or small, is often driven by a sense of responsibility and love. He works hard, not just for himself, but for those he cares about. Whether it's providing for his family, fixing something around the house, or simply being there in times of need, he puts in effort every day. And while he doesn't expect constant praise, he does want to feel that what he does matters. Appreciation is not about grand gestures or extravagant thank yous. It is about acknowledgement. A simple "I see what you do and I'm grateful" goes a long way in making a man feel valued. When his sacrifices, his hard work, and even the little things he does are noticed, it fuels him. It gives him the motivation to keep going, to keep providing, to keep giving his best. But when his efforts are constantly overlooked or taken for granted, he begins to feel unimportant, as if nothing he does is ever enough. A man doesn't just want to be loved, he wants to be appreciated for the role he plays in the lives of those he cares about. When he feels that appreciation, he naturally gives even more. He stands taller, works harder, and loves deeper. But when he feels ignored, dismissed, or underappreciated, he may stop trying altogether. He may pull back, feeling as though his presence or contributions don't make a difference. Showing appreciation does not require a special occasion. It can be as simple as acknowledging his hard work, thanking him for his consistency, or letting him know that his presence brings value to your life. The truth is, a man who feels genuinely appreciated will move mountains, not because he has to, but because he wants to. A man is not born a leader. He becomes one through experience, challenges, and the belief that he has what it takes to guide, protect, and build. Deep within, he carries the instinct to provide solutions, make decisions, and take responsibility for the things and people he values most. But while leadership is a role he naturally embraces, it is not something he demands, it is something he hopes to be trusted with. A man does not need to control everything, nor does he claim to have all the answers, but what he truly desires is the confidence of those around him, the assurance that his judgment is valued, and the trust that he is capable of leading when the moment calls for it. Trust in a man's leadership is not about blind obedience or submission. It is about partnership, believing in his ability to navigate challenges, supporting his decisions, while also offering wisdom, and standing by him rather than against him. When a man feels trusted, he steps into his role with confidence, he makes decisions with greater care, knowing that his leadership is appreciated rather than questioned at every turn. He listens more, considers more, and becomes a better version of himself because he knows he is not leading alone, he is leading with the support of someone who believes in him. But when a man feels constantly doubted, criticized, or undermined, he begins to withdraw. He either shuts down, stops trying, and lets go of responsibility, or he becomes frustrated and distant. A man who does not feel trusted in his leadership will either give up or feel the need to prove himself in ways that lead to conflict. A strong leader is not one who forces authority, but one who earns trust, and the greatest gift you can give a man who strives to lead is the reassurance that he is capable, that his thoughts and actions are respected, and that he has someone beside him who believes in his ability to build, protect, and guide. For a man, intimacy is often misunderstood. While physical connection is important, it is not the only form of closeness he desires. True intimacy goes beyond touch. It is about understanding, trust, and a deep emotional bond that makes him feel truly seen. A man may not always say it, but he longs for a connection where he can be himself without fear of judgment. He wants to know that he is not just wanted for what he can provide, but for who he is at his core. Intimacy is found in the quiet moments, the late-night conversations where he can share his fears and dreams, the laughter over inside jokes that no one else understands, and the feeling of being completely accepted. It is in the way someone listens when he speaks, the way they remember the little details he thought no one noticed, and the way they stand by him, even when life gets difficult. A man wants to feel like more than just a provider or protector. He wants to feel like he is truly known. Many men are conditioned to believe that expressing emotions is a sign of weakness. They are taught to be strong, to keep their struggles to themselves. But deep down, every man craves a space where he can let his guard down. He wants a connection where he does not always have to be the strong one, where he can be vulnerable without worrying that it will change how he is seen. When a man experiences intimacy beyond the physical, he becomes deeply loyal and committed. He will move mountains for the person who makes him feel safe, understood, and valued. But when that emotional connection is missing, no amount of physical intimacy can fill the void. He may become distant, disconnected, or seek fulfillment elsewhere, not out of a lack of love, but out of a longing to feel truly connected. True intimacy is not about perfection. It is about presence. It is about being there in the moments that matter, showing understanding in times of difficulty, and loving him for more than what he can do. It is loving him for who he is, entirely and completely. A man, like anyone else, longs for the freedom to be himself without fear of judgment, control, or constant correction. He does not want to feel like he has to shrink, adjust, or put on a mask just to be accepted. He wants to know that he can be his true, unfiltered self, his strengths, his flaws, his quirks, and everything in between, without feeling like he is constantly being molded into someone else's idea of who he should be. Freedom does not mean recklessness or irresponsibility. It means being allowed to express himself, make his own choices, and walk his own path without feeling suffocated. He wants to laugh without being told he's too loud, share his thoughts without fear of criticism, and pursue his passions without being made to feel like they are a waste of time. He doesn't want to be judged for the way he thinks, the things he enjoys, or the dreams he chases. He simply wants to be seen and accepted as he is. A man who feels free in a relationship, free to be himself, free to make mistakes, free to grow at his own pace, will give back that same freedom in return. He will love fully, commit deeply, and cherish the person who allows him to be real. But when he feels controlled, criticized, or constantly corrected, he begins to withdraw. He either becomes defensive, shutting people out to protect his sense of self, or he conforms, losing pieces of himself along the way, becoming a version of himself that pleases others, but leaves him feeling empty inside. The greatest gift you can give a man is the space to be himself, while knowing he is still loved, respected, and appreciated. When he feels safe in his authenticity, he flourishes. He becomes more confident, more open, and more willing to share his world. Freedom is not the absence of responsibility, it is the presence of acceptance. And when a man feels truly accepted, he will give back a love that is deep, unwavering, and real. At the end of the day, every man, no matter how strong, confident, or independent he appears, wants to feel valued, respected, and understood. He may not always say it, but he craves a space where he can lead without being doubted, love without hesitation, and be vulnerable without fear. He seeks loyalty, appreciation, peace, and a connection that goes beyond the surface. When these needs are met, he does not just survive, he thrives. He steps into his highest potential, becomes the best version of himself, and gives back that same love and devotion tenfold. So, if you truly want to understand what a man wants, look beyond what he says, and pay attention to what he shows. And when you give him the freedom to be his true self, you will witness a man who is not only strong, but deeply committed, grateful, and unstoppable in his pursuit of greatness.